Welcome, Pennell families. My name is Janet Watts, and I am the school counselor at Pennell Elementary School. Thank you for taking a few minutes today to click on my link to learn more about me. So, a little bit about myself. This year, I am starting my 17th year as a school counselor in the Pennell School District. I did a few years up at the high school before switching to Pennell Elementary back in 2013. I received my Bachelor's of Science in Elementary Education from Westchester University and spent a couple years as an elementary school teacher teaching pre-K and fifth grade prior to moving on to getting my master's also at Westchester University in the area of school counseling. So, what is Pennell's guidance program? We are a proactive, comprehensive, and developmental approach that all the elementary counselors use across the district. We help students apply academic achievement strategies, manage their emotions, and apply their interpersonal skills, plan for moving on to the middle school, and also thinking about what they might want to be when they grow up. And in order to fulfill our guidance programs, we really fall into 4 program components: guidance curriculum, and I utilize a combination of monthly core essentials guidance presentations to the students, along with certain classroom individual lessons, combination of doing special events throughout the year. We have bullying prevention coming up in the fall. So throughout the year, we have different types of activities that we do that have to do with the times of the year or just different events that are local or national. Responsive services, and that's when you're working with a student who might have a specific need, maybe more so in a classroom setting as a whole group or in small groups. Individual planning, so if there's a specific need for a specific student, possibly a recent death in the family or a family that's going through divorce, we might utilize the individual planning process. And system support, supporting not only the teachers in the school and the students, but also the administration in any way possible. So what is the guidance curriculum that we're currently using? We implement curriculum designed to address the developmental needs of our students as they progress through the elementary school. So number 1 is character education with monthly core essential guidance lessons. Respecting differences is something that we really try to hit in the younger grades, especially in kindergarten and first grade. Babes Club, which was all about coping skills, self-image, making good decisions. That comes more in second grade. Safety rules, which is something that we reinforce with all the grades, along with career education in third, fourth, and fifth grade. Conflict resolution is something that is utilized pretty much throughout most of the grades, but typically can be hit more within the needs of second, third, fourth, and fifth grade as they're getting a little older. Anti-bullying is school-wide. We do that in typically start off the year in October with Bullying Prevention Month. And then throughout the year, we do some occasional refreshers just to make sure that everybody is understanding of what is bullying and the different types of bullying and how to handle those situations. Anger management. So this can be in small group or individual counseling or even as a classroom. And of course, much more as things come up. Our character education program that we utilize in the district is our Core Essential Values program. This year, you can see I have listed here for you all the different values that we'll be working with your children each month, starting with initiative in September. If you're interested, I am also going to be providing the link to this presentation for the Google slide where you can directly click on and go to different links. So what we offer here is an opportunity to click on a link for a particular grade and receive a parent handout that goes into greater detail about what you can expect your child to be learning. I'll also be having these printed out for classroom teachers to send home with your child in their homework folder sometime in the next week or 2. And you can see here as an example, this is an example of the kindergarten phase sheet for the Core Essential program. And it simply scrolls down, shows all the different core values that we'll be doing this year, and goes into a little bit of more of a description. So if you're interested, this is a great way for parents to familiarize yourself with your students always talk about when they say, oh, we saw Mrs. Watts today for a guidance lesson. Then you'll know all about the Core Essential program. So check that out if you would like. So, one of the other things that I do is responsive services. And what that is it includes individual counseling, small group counseling, consultations, and referrals. So, for personal counseling, this could include small group and individual basis for students, could be self referral by a student, a teacher referral, parent referral, lots of different ways. Small groups, some examples of topics might include academic stress, friendship, grief, and self control. And it's really based on the needs of the students, and working with parents and teachers to determine who might benefit from a particular group. The other part is consultation and referral, consulting with students, parents, teachers, and other educators, and sometimes community agencies, in order to assist parents in identifying appropriate community services for their children. Of course, parent permission slips are utilized and requested before any student takes part in a group or individual counseling service. So I never meet with students on a regular basis without a parent obviously being in the loop and also approving of that time that I would spend with their child on a regular basis. So for individual planning, things would be like advertisement, assessment, placement, and follow up of students. So, of course, typically when a teacher notifies me that they think that little Johnny might need a little assistance, I'm going to possibly go in there, do some student observations, maybe take some notes, do some data collection, talk with our child study team, follow up with parents, and also just meet with that student. Help the students set individual goals, make plans, and get oriented to new school settings, especially for our newer students who maybe this is their first week in Pennell. I like to get to know them a little bit better and see what I can do to support them. Planning accounts for a small portion of an elementary school program and expands as students move. So that's one thing. We're always constantly planning and reinventing the things we did. Last year, I had to kind of take on virtual learning just like you did. So I always told all my students that we're all learning together. Sometimes we have to be willing to try new things and think out of the box. For system support, that's supporting the program through community outreach and internal interaction. So sometimes it's great to be able to use resources in our local community or agencies to be able to get additional feedback and also resources that we can then pass along to parents in certain circumstances. I'm also a member of the child study team, and also a member of the PBIS character education and IEP teams. I also manage all the 504 plans in the school if your child has one of those. And I'm also the coach of the Tier 2 program, which is our PBIS Tier 2 Positive Behavioral Supports team. And that's just for students who maybe just need a little bit more attention to their needs in regards to behavior, whether it's externalizing behavior or maybe internalizing. Maybe they're seeming a little shy or sad or sullen, and we want to make sure we get them the support they need. PBIS, you might have heard me say that a minute ago. What is that? Well, PBIS is our positive behavior interventions and supports. And that's what our students know as our 3 school expectations of being respectful, responsible, and safe. We are constantly teaching this to our students and reinforcing this in a positive way. So we teach expectations of areas in the school, such as the cafeteria, the classroom, hallways, stairwells, recess yard, cafeteria, bathrooms, bus, and gym. And this is one example of a poster that a student would be able to see hung around the room in their classroom. And you can see it breaks down into respectful, responsible, and safe, and really explains to the students what do we mean by being respectful in that particular setting. So being respectful in a classroom setting would be raising your hand to share, using kind words, and listening to others, just as a few examples. We also make sure that we say the Pennell Pledge every morning and acknowledge appropriate behavior by rewarding our students with praise. We give them Pennell Pals and also 200 club tickets for those students who really show us that they are true leaders and go above and beyond when it comes to being respectful, responsible, safe, and kind community members in our building. And we try to use common language. Every single student in the school understands the PBIS system. And by reinforcing it using the same language over and over again, it allows students all the way from kindergarten to start learning the process so that it's reinforced and it's something that's just common sense to them by the time they get out of the elementary school. And PBIS moves forward with students through their times in the middle school and the high school as well. So we have a PBIS behavior expectations matrix. This is a little bit hard to see, but if you click on this diagram, it will pop up the link. And this just shows you an example for the entire breakdown of what the posters are really showing around the school for PBIS. So the example I had given was the classroom, and we can see here for being respectful. These are some of the expectations that we have for students, but it also lists the other areas if you're curious. And then, of course, the next area would be being responsible. And lastly, we had the being safe. We break it down in this matrix to show our expectations in one place. This is more so for the staff on this matrix paper and parents, whereas the students are looking at the posters because they're more engaging to them. And here's just some bigger blown up versions of that by section if you're interested in looking at this instead of going to the link. So something new for this year, we are starting PBIS Spirit Days. So on the second Wednesday of every month, it's going to be a PBIS Spirit Day. On that day, all students and teachers will wear their Pendle shirt that they received this week to school. We'll have either a school-wide assembly or a buddy activity, and we plan to alternate them every month. So this month we're going to be doing assembly. Next month we'll be doing a buddy activity in which a younger grade classroom is paired up with an older grade classroom. We're going to also have monthly lessons for all the students. And again, at these on these days, we will announce the 200 Club student winners, and staff Pendle Pal winners will be pulled as well. So we can really not only make everybody motivated to do this, but also we want to show the staff that we really care, that they're reinforcing this behavior matrix as well. Some additional resources that I'm going to have here linked to you is also just some of my Bitmoji resources I've created. I have my social emotional learning and mindfulness resources. You can simply click on that. I have also a direct link to the Pendelco Virtual Calming Room. This was created for students, parents, the community, and staff to utilize at the beginning of the pandemic, and it's been added on to and updated over the time. So something that you can utilize in your house or even for yourself as an adult. And also my virtual guidance classroom. A lot of students really enjoyed this last year when we started out the year fully virtual, and then we were in hybrid mode. A lot of them asked me to keep it up. So each month I'm going to still have it available to students and teachers. But of course, we're going to be seeing each other every day in school. So it's going to be a little bit different this year. So attendance, for those of you who don't know, myself, Ms. Grasso, our attendance secretary, and our principal are the three people in our building who monitor and assist with student attendance on a daily basis. So just so everybody is aware of our specific attendance policy for Pendelco, notes are required within 3 days from return of school after an absence. So we do really appreciate parents when they call out and notify the office that the child's going to be absent by leaving a message on our attendance line. But keep in mind that even if you make a phone call, you still must follow up with handing in a note within 3 days of your child returning to school. That could be a paper note that your child hands in, or you could submit an electronic absence note. And I've included the link here to this for the electronic absence note that's on the district website. Hold on, let me go back there. Oops. Sorry about that. So if you click here, it will take you directly to the electronic absent note link for the district. And it basically is a format that if you don't want to print this out, you're welcome to write a similar the name of your child's school name, the absence date. You can do a similar format on any random piece of paper. The big thing here is we need to have this information along with an actual parent signature on here. And then you can either simply take your cell phone, take a screenshot or a photo of this with your signature, and then you're going to email it to the school. And for Pennell, the attendance email is pen-attendance@pdsd.org. So like I said, this is an easy one to print out to have on hand at home, or you can use a similar format if you want to handwrite it yourself. So again, that's an electronic absence note. So options for sending in an attendance note: you can handwrite a note, but it must be signed. We have to have a parent signature. You can use your phone to take a picture of the note with a parent signature on it, and you can email the picture of the note, or a doctor's note too. Doctor's notes, we of course will always accept, and they can always even be faxed to us if needs be. Okay. Keep in mind that after 3 days, unexcused absences are accumulated for a student, and a student attendance improvement plan or SAPE meeting will be offered. And after 6 cumulative days of unexcused absences, it is required. And that is something that we have to utilize to go along with state attendance policy protocols. So if you have any additional questions about that, you can always contact the main office and ask for Ms. Grasso or myself or the principal, and we will be happy to assist you with better understanding that. So some frequently asked questions. How can you contact me? You can contact me a variety of ways. You can email me at jwatts@pdsd.org. You can message me directly through the messaging tool in Schoology. You could leave me a voicemail at my phone number at school, and I will get back to you within 24 hours. The next question frequently asked is, will my child receive counseling without my consent? No. Written informed consent is required from the child and the child's parent guardian to participate in group counseling or individual counseling. When a child asks to speak individually, the initial meeting, I will check in with the child. It's kind of focused to clarify what the request is. And if I feel and the child feels that they would benefit from further sessions, typically 6 to 8 at most, then I will reach out to a parent or assist them in making the phone call to call you as well. So keep in mind that school counseling is a short-term process and not intended for long-term therapy. So if a student would benefit from outside counseling services or more long-term services that go beyond the scope of what I do for my job, I can assist families in giving them a list of local agencies that they might want to consider. And lastly, here is my contact information. So my hours that I am in school are from 8:15 in the morning until 3:40 p.m. The beginning of the day, I do have meetings and also use that as a time to sometimes catch up on phone calls. And we do have bus duty at the end. But those are the typical hours that I am at Pennell. Sometimes I stay a little later, but those are the hours that I am there. You can send me a message, as I had said, through Schoology. You can email me directly, or you can call me. As you know, every phone number in the district starts off with 610-497-6300, and we each have our own extension. My direct extension is 7313. It is a private extension. No one listens to it except myself, so you can leave confidential information on there, and it will only be heard by myself. I thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this presentation. And like I said, I'll also be sharing this presentation link for the Google slide if you'd like to be able to go back in and click on some of the links and explore some of the things I presented tonight. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to spending more time with your child this year and getting to know your students. Have a great day. Bye-bye.